I'm with Margate manager Ben Greenhalgh after his side's 2-1 victory over VCD. Ben, following on from Tuesday, first 3 points on the board this season in the league. You must be absolutely delighted this evening.
Yeah, I think that Tuesday night was brilliant, and what an occasion, and we showed so much energy in that performance, and we wanted to reiterate that. I don't think we quite did in terms of if we're going to be overcritical. I think we started a little bit slow and we didn't quite get going, but the most important thing about today was getting 3 points and getting a win. And they're a team that worked really hard, VCD, and they've got a reasonable sort of record so far in the league. So we knew it wasn't going to be the easiest of games, but there's a few things that we'll look back at and we know didn't quite get going in comparison to Tuesday night. But the most important thing, like we said, is we've got 3 points and it's now time to build. I think we've been saying, and I've been saying in a lot of interviews, we're waiting on that win. Maybe Tuesday night was that win, maybe today was that win, and there's 2 wins on the bounce. It's getting going now, and it's a case of really kicking on.
We saw you keep a similar side tonight to this afternoon from Tuesday night. You made a couple of changes, obviously brought Tom Ray back in, but kept the likes of Blue, Huswaite involved, and obviously Henry Young kept his place and scored essentially the winner this afternoon. How important was that for you to keep the momentum from Tuesday in terms of the playing squad this afternoon?
I think regarding us as management is we will be consistent and we will be fair to the players. We're not going to be a case of this is the 11, this 11 will always play. I think probably some people might look at it and go, well, hang on, they've got Tom Derry, they've got Ben on the bench, and should they be the ones going out there? And people are allowed to sort of have that opinion, but one thing that we will always do is be fair, and if the boys put in that performance on Tuesday night, then they deserve to start again. And exactly the same for Blue. He's come into first team, this is his first proper experience within first team football, and he stood out on Tuesday night. I thought he was brilliant, and it's a case of going again today, and he did well again today. And it's a case of, look, maybe there are situations where you can trust the player too much, and that's not Blue, that's like as a team, maybe we did trust in it a bit too much and it didn't quite get going in the same way. But we want to be consistent as a management team. If you're going to play well and the team plays well and the team gets a good result, then you're going to keep your spot in the team no matter who you are. And you look at the people that are on the sideline and out of the squad at the moment through injuries and things, we've got to trust in what we have. We aren't a massive squad. We never want to go with 21, 22 players because those extra players can start feeding into the positivity and turn that into negativity because if they're the ones not playing. So we wanted an honest, hard-working group, and you can see the boys that are out of it are coming in and buzzing that we win. And that's the most important thing. And you don't need to over-analyse performances. You just need to make sure as a group, whoever's playing, they work hard enough and they get the result. And the bottom line is we did that today. Could we have done that easier? Yes. I felt like there were much more opportunities to have more quality on the ball and more composure in the final third. But like we said, I don't want to be the guy sort of trying to pick at certain things when obviously the positive side of things was we got 3 points.
And in terms of the playing squad this evening, there was a couple more injuries this afternoon. Obviously we saw Tom Derry limp off at the end, Max Walsh as well. There may be doubts for Tuesday. How much of a headache is that creating at the moment?
Yeah, look, this is the first time I think ever at Margate since I've been here where we've been under this sort of scrutiny of injured players. I've never seen this amount of, especially it's not even just like this amount of players being injured, it's this amount of players having a 2-week injury, and so you know they're coming back soon, you know it's really close, but it's not soon enough. And I was just working out in there, I think it's 8 players that are injured and possibly out for Tuesday. So we know we're going to be up against it for Tuesday. And look, there's another way, one thing I will always do is when we are out of players, we're trusting the youth, we're trusting the players doing well in the youth. And today and Tuesday we saw Finn and Reece on the bench because they're the ones that have been excelling in the 23s. And obviously with them, we'll try and keep Reece involved Tuesday night, but Finn probably can't because of the FA Youth Cup, and it's one of them. If Finn was starting for us, then maybe we would probably take priority, but Youth Cup's a big thing for young players and it means a lot to them, so I don't want to get in the way of that. I think he deserves to, he's been one of the stronger players for the under-18, so he deserves to go and give it another go on Tuesday night. And look, we'll have to make up for it where we can. I know Graham's working hard, especially he's going to be working hard on Monday to see who can get in for Tuesday. But look, off the top of my head, we're without Blackie, we're without Eman, we're without Kieran, we're without Derry, Max, Kai, and I think there's Akko. So I feel like, and even there's a couple other players that are carrying knocks. It's the first time where it's been that amount of players, but I just said in there, I think if you get through this phase with positive results, you come back really strong as a group. Because you know you've gone through it with missing so many bodies that when those bodies come back you feel even stronger and you can go that step further. So I'm looking forward to Tuesday night to seeing the 11 that we go with really graft again and putting a really good performance against a team that is clearly very strong this year, and we know enough about them, and Tommy's done a good job with them down there. And they're going to be big, they're going to be physical, and they look like scoring goals. And they're a team that's just beaten a Conference Premier side today in the FA Cup, so they'll be on a massive buzz. So we're looking forward to going down to their place and putting on a performance.
And in terms of Tuesday night, we'll come on to that in just a moment, but Henry Young, who returned to the club this week, just 19 years old, just turned 20 in fact Thursday. Decent performance Tuesday at Ramsgate, a goal here this afternoon. It must be very pleasing to have someone from Thanet back in your side, that young and hungry to succeed, and seeing him do things like that on the pitch today.
Yeah, I think, look, Henry's brilliant, the family's brilliant, we know a lot about Henry and everything, so he's so easy to work with in that department. I think we were always gutted when we lost him, because obviously Dover took control of him a little bit after we gave him his opportunity in the Kent Cup final and previously playing for us and coming on for us. And he stood out then as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old. So now that you can tell how much he's grown in the game, and it's great to see him. And look, for us, he's someone that we've always wanted to play for Margate, because he is a Margate boy and he's come through the youth system here. And that's something that I know it may not have happened loads at the moment, but that's something all I've ever wanted to do. And I think people understand that, because that's my job on a day-to-day basis. All I've done for 10 years is promote 16 to 19-year-old footballers into the world of football, whether it be at Dartford or all around non-league football, and we've seen so many of them here anyway. And my objective is to start doing that with Thanet boys and Thanet players. And one thing that we will always be consistent with while we're here is that we will tell them the truth. We will be honest with them, and we will push them at the right time. And it's been disappointing over the years that we've lost a few players to go elsewhere who are getting promised things that don't happen. One thing that we would always do is every time, and I talk to Finn a lot, and sometimes they probably want to play more, sometimes they probably see that we're not getting the results we want and feel like they can impact it more, and maybe they can, but at the same time, we want to look after them, we want to throw them in at the right time, we want to make sure that they're at their best when they're ready to go. And maybe there's been players here in the past where that hasn't worked well enough for, but look, Henry Young is the pinnacle of that. He's now 19, 20, and today he's put in a great performance scoring the goal, and he put in a brilliant performance Tuesday night. I thought him and Brandon were the difference Tuesday night, having that energy in there, and they both after the game were like, love playing with him, and that's exactly what it's all about. And we have missed that. When Blackie doesn't play, we have missed a bit of energy in there and someone to be a natural centre mid, and it's great that Henry's back with us and he cares about Margate Football Club, which is all the players that I ever want to sign. And
just finally then, Ben, Tuesday night, Faversham Town away, a tricky one. They've just been promoted into the league, we know, but they're started very strongly. They've got through in the FA Cup today, as you mentioned. It'll be a tricky place to go, but on the back of a win, 2 wins now in a week, must be feeling a little bit confident.
Yeah, look, Faversham are a team that are used to winning, and we've always said that when teams come up, they're used to winning. So sometimes you get that bump where they carry on winning. But they've played a few big teams as well, and they've done well. And we are a big team, so they're definitely gonna be up against it with us, and we're gonna be up against it with them. And it's probably going to be one of the most entertaining non-league fixtures that Tuesday night will hold. And we need to make sure that we go in with the same mentality we did at Ramsgate, same intensity that we did at Ramsgate. I feel like I said, the first 30 minutes today were slightly flat, and sometimes that's the weather, sometimes that's the way the game is, and you have to put your hand on it and go, we can't expect wonders at all times. It is step 4 football. But we want to go down on Tuesday night and really give them a game and take it to them and show why we were a team that was expected to be up there as well as we expected them to be up there.
That's brilliant. Well done today on the win.
Cheers, Ryan. Thank you.
Mate.